Hey everybody, I'm back. I was just here yesterday and I put up a video yesterday, but um, I'm back today. This is unusual. I don't normally come back this quickly, but interestingly enough, somebody in yesterday's video commented and said, I hope that you don't disappear when Trump is gone. And hopefully you'll have something to read about in the aftermath of Trump. And I got to thinking about that. And I was like, man, I hope I do have something to read about because I would really like to get on here and talk to people and help people kind of heal. And then I was in the shower today, which is where I get all of my great ideas. And as a writer, anybody who writes will tell you, yeah, the shower, that's where all the great ideas come from. And today, as I was washing my hair, this is how you wash your hair in this household. You just jazz hands. Anyway, as I was washing my hair, the thought occurred to me that I wanted to talk to you all about Ascension and explain what we're sort of going through right now and why this is all happening. Because a lot of people have asked, why is this happening? And there's a lot of reasons for it. And sometimes I've touched on that in my videos. But a lot of it has to do with Ascension. Okay, we as individuals, okay, each one of us is ascending. We're growing in our light. We're going from what's called 3D to 5D, or if you're watching this, it might be over here, 3D to 5D. And as a society, we are ascending from 3D to 5D. And as a world, we are ascending from 3D to 5D. And as a planet, our planet is ascending from 3D to 5D, as is our solar system and our universe. I mean, it's all connected, okay? So what's happening to our inner universe, to what's happening to us, we ourselves, each one of us is an enclosed, encased universe. As a society, our societies are universes. Our world is a universe. Our planet is a universe. Our solar system is in itself a universe. And then we have our universe, which is a universe within universes with much, so we're not going to get into all of that, okay, because I might blow your mind, but because it's really hard to understand. And my guides have actually told me I'm not going to understand this until I'm dead, and I may not even understand it then, that my human brain cannot comprehend the enormity of what we are and how we fit in. You just have to have faith that you do. You are your own individual universe. Okay, so we are ascending as individuals within a much bigger ascension process. All of us and our planet is going from this 3D to this 5D existence. And basically what's happening is my guides have told me that I am already at 5D, that I have ascended into this upper level of 5D existence. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I get that. I understand, because I understand that all my life I have just never felt like I fit in. And so if you're one of those people that goes, ugh, all my life I have just never felt like I fit in. I felt like the black sheep of the group or the family. And I'm the black sheep of my family. I don't socialize well. I used to be a little bit socially phobic. But it was more than just, it was more like I just didn't know what to say. I couldn't relate to people and they couldn't relate to me. And if you feel that way, you're probably in a 5D experience. You've probably reached that position of 5D. A lot of light workers are already in 5D. And even within 5D, you're still ascending, you're still growing your light and raising your vibration and all that wonderful, good ascension stuff, okay? And by the way, I have cards too. Sorry. I do have a couple of cards that my guides wanted me to share with you today. So that's happening. And on the big, huge global level, the earth is going through the same thing. Now, what does this mean? All right. I'm going to tell you what happened to me. And then we can take kind of what happened on my little tiny individual level, and then we can look at it from the perspective of society and the earth. Okay, so I got this book. I was drawn to this book. Interesting. Melissa Free Range Psychic told me, or had a video where she mentioned Diana Cooper, and I've talked about her before on my channel a long time ago. I bought almost all of her books. I still need to get a few of them, but I've got quite a few of them. And this is called The Archangel Guide to Ascension, 55 Steps to the Light. And it's just full of visualizations to help you ascend personally. One of the visualizations is on page 21 of this book, and it's called the 4-Body System Ascension Boost. This is kind of, how can I describe it? It's like a fast track to raising your light. Excuse me. Archangel Metatron actually came to me and I was using my pendulum, and he communicated with me and said he wanted me to do this every day until I reached what's called 100% of light. Okay. He helped me determine where I currently was at the time. This was probably last September. And he said at the time I was at 86% of light. And so, all right, that was where I started. And every 4 days, I did this Ascension Boost. And I raised my vibration, I raised my light using this visualization that's outlined here, 1%. Every 4 days, just 1%. So I went 87% of light, 88%, 89%, and so forth until I reached 100% of light on, get this, 11/11/19, November 11th, 2019. That was all I needed to know, that this process for me was divinely guided. 11/11 is your wake-up call. It's the wake-up, if you've seen this, you may have seen shirts or memes or whatever. It said 11/11 time, it's your wake-up call. That's kind of a spiritual wake-up call. So interestingly enough, my 100% of light visualization came on 11/11. Now here's what happened with just 1%. Every 4 days, raising my light 1% with this boost, I went into a complete and total meltdown. My husband, God love him, he probably thought, get me out of here. I saved most of my meltdowns for after he went to work, and then I would just crash. I would do the Ascension Boost. I would do the meditation on the morning, right? Because I meditate in the morning. And then that day I would be okay. That first day I would feel fine. I would start to feel things sinking toward the end of the day. The second day, the day after I did this visualization, I fell apart. Emotionally, we have 4 bodies, okay? We have what's called the physical body. Outside of that is the mental body, the emotional body. Outside of that is the mental body. And then outside of that is the spiritual body. I think that's the order they go in. It's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And anytime you raise the vibration of one of your 4 bodies, the others follow suit. So if you do for example, if you do a cleanse, like a detox, like a dietary detox, where you're either taking a supplement to detox your system, or you have stopped eating a certain food, or like sugar, or you stopped smoking cigarettes, okay? This affects your physical body. But as you're affecting your physical body and the yuck, the toxins are coming out of your physical body and leaving your system, you're going to feel kind of sick. You're going to ache. You might have fever. You might have chills. Taking it to the extreme, alcoholism, when you detox from alcohol, you can get really, really violently ill. The physical, chills, the fevers, the body aches, you could be sick. You could throw up. You could, all of it. On a small scale, you might feel fluish. Okay, this has happened to me on several occasions because I've done numerous physical detoxes. But when you detox the physical body, you're also detoxing your emotional body, your mental body, and your spiritual body. So you're raising your vibration throughout all 4 of your bodies and your auric field when you detox one body. This is why if you go to get the physical therapy, and the physical therapist kind of works on your mental processes as you correct and fix your mental, I feel like I'm putting a puzzle together. But as you're fixing your mental processes and the way you think about things and yourself, you're fixing not just that, but your physical, your emotional, and your spiritual body. So this for me, this was a spiritual ascension, a spiritual detox, if you will. As this light came through me, as I was pulling this extra light into me, it was clearing my spiritual body and awakening a lot of detoxification in all my other bodies. So physically, I was exhausted. Like the second day after I would do this visualization, I would be just exhausted and I might have a headache. I would sleep. Mentally, I had thoughts of, I'm not good enough. I suck. It's the end of the world. It was like just mental crud. Let's keep it PG. Would just weigh down on me. And emotionally, I would just fall apart. I would sob uncontrollably and for hours. By the second day after I did the visualization, I would be feeling a little better. And then by the third day, I was great. And then I would start all over. The fourth day, I would do it again, and I'd raise another percentage of light. Okay, so that's ascension on a personal level. And this was me kind of forcing it. So I was forcing the light to come in and push out all of the junk. If I had just let it happen naturally, it would have gone a lot more slowly. But I don't like to wait, and I can handle it. I was like, just bring it on. Let's just get through it. Tough, let's go. I can handle this. And now that I've gone through all of those, I've reached the 100% of light. I'm fine. I don't have that funk hit me anymore, and I feel better. But the world is still doing this on a much slower, natural level. So take what I just experienced happening to me and plant it into society with what we've got going on right now with the Trump administration, right? He has awakened he's helped stir it up. He's kind of like bringing in the 1% of light, okay? Zoom, the zap. And only he's brought like in 10% of light in one fell swoop. And it's just gone boom, like sent a shockwave out around not just the United States, but around the world. And it has just, think of yourself getting, did you ever see Raiders of the Lost Ark when the guy opens the ark and the light rises up in him and he's like, and it blasts out and people get slammed with bolts of lightning through their bodies and they all go flying back. That's kind of what Trump has done to the world, okay? I wouldn't say he's the light, but he's the vehicle that's brought all of this out, okay? So all of the junk now has to come up out of society. Fighting. This is like our mental bodies going through this, in our physical and in our emotional bodies, all going through this wrestling match, but we're not doing it within ourselves. We're doing it to each other and around each other. And that's what this is what this is. This is why we're seeing this. It's an ascension. Society and humanity is going through an ascension right now. That's why I'm always saying, don't worry. Don't worry. This is what's supposed to happen. We can't get where we need to be without this pain happening. It sucks. And every time I went through the 1% of light thingy, it sucked for me too for 2 days. And I was miserable. And you don't want to know. It was awful, awful, awful what I went through every time I did this. But I did it because I knew it would get me where I needed to be, which was enlightened and happy again. I have a little tea. Okay. And here's the other thing about this. Years ago, I was so messed up. 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was a knot of tension and nerves and frustration and anxiety. I don't even want to go back to that person that I was. I was full of anger. I was full of fear. I was afraid of everything. I was afraid of success. I was afraid of failure. I was afraid to speak up, to speak my truth. I was angry all the time. I was picking fights with people. I would just get in their face. I was just, and I'm not like that anymore. That's what gives me hope for what's happening in society right now. Because I was like that my whole life. And I didn't think I would ever be able to get out of that place, that ugly, horrible, dark place that I was in. And I have ascended through that now. And I look back and I'm like, golly, how did I do this? Sometimes it's like, how did I get to this person I am today, who is so peaceful and happy and optimistic? The person who doesn't worry about tomorrow or the next day or what's going to happen next year. The person who is really happy to live in the moment and not worry about all this stuff. The fact that I could do that proves to me that society will do that as well. And that all of this is eventually going to settle. And when it does, it's going to be better. That people are going to change the way I changed. Their behavior, their beliefs, the way they speak, the way they think. It's all going to change as a whole. And we're going to see this coming down out of this chaotic battlefield that we found ourselves in. Okay. Let's look at this as an earth real quick. The earth is going through this too. That's why we're seeing all the fires, the earthquakes, the floods, and it's just going to get worse, especially this year. We're going to see more flooding. We're going to see more earthquakes because the earth itself has to go through this to ascend and get where it needs to be as a planet on the 5D. And just as an example here, thunder and lightning. The earth, one of the ways the earth releases its negative energy is through thunder and lightning and blizzards and violent storms, tornadoes, hurricanes. This is Earth's way. Okay. When we go through the 1% of light increases and go through a meltdown for 2 days, we're in our own inner tornado, our own inner blizzard, our own inner hurricane, if you will, where we are flooded. The earth is doing the same thing. It is releasing negative energy through these mechanisms, these tears, the screaming, the tirades, the throwing stuff, the exhaustion, the overwhelming exhaustion. We all, as we're ascending, we go through our inner earthquakes. The earth has to go through its earthquakes as well in its natural disasters. So think about it from that perspective, and then you'll have a better understanding of what is happening right now, because everything is ascending. It is the end times. Me in air quotes, I tell you. It is the end times. It's just not Armageddon. It's just not what the Bible and what traditional religion has said Armageddon would be, or the end times would be. The earth isn't going to explode and all this, and the people aren't going to just die. No, the people who will perish are the people who resist the 5D transition and try to stay within 3D, because 3D, anybody who tries to remain in 3D existence will not survive in 5D. It can't live there. 5D is so light and so bright and so enlightened and filled with light and love and compassion that 3D energy, which is very tormented and full of anger and fear and hate, won't be able to get in there. There'll be a block. And until those people open and embrace the 5D way of thinking and the way of being, they won't make it. And what will end up happening is it will destroy their bodies in some way. They'll perish. They won't be able to survive. And that's just the natural way that this is going to happen. And I'm not saying that to be mean to anybody. I'm just saying that. And that doesn't mean that everybody who passes away was 3D. It just means that those people who won't survive beyond the full ascension. Okay? So I think that's all I want to say about that. But I did ask my guides if they could give me a card on kind of where we are right now. And they gave me 2. And they said this is from the Enchanted Forest, or Forest of Enchantment Tarot, which I used yesterday, which I just love these cards. And it felt perfect to use this deck for this particular reason. It gave me the Four of Visions, which is the Four of Cups in the traditional tarot. Now, the Four of Cups usually has a very negative feeling to it. I sometimes think of the Four of Cups as meditation, rest. It's a resting spot. And it's also dejection. It's also a bit of refusal, sadness, disappointment. And that's where we are right now. Okay, but that's not bad. I want to read this to you because as I was reading this today, I thought it fits so perfectly with kind of where I've been and where I think we are as a society. Okay, I'm reading this out of the book. Okay, as a four card, the fours here, it says, this is what it says about the fours in general, the four cards. The twos and threes move you forward along your forest journey. And that's what we're doing, is we're going through the forest. The fours halt your progress. And this is not always a bad thing, okay? So it's not always a bad thing to be stopped, which is kind of where we are right now. We're in this moment before everything really starts to hit the fan and change, which is what happens with the fives. Fives change, and stir things up. Fours, we're resting, we're evaluating, we're looking, and we're a little disappointed and dissatisfied with what's happening. And we're looking, how can we make this better? The other thing to remember about this card is this is a beautiful forest, a beautiful magical forest. And look how sad he is. All he has to do is lift his gaze and go, oh, look at where I am. That's how simple it will be, okay? All right. The fours halt your progress, and that's not always a bad thing. Creative action and working through conflicts both benefit from taking a break. A break in joy or generosity, on the other hand, can bring your progress to a dead stop. So that's, excuse me, that's where my reminder yesterday of staying in love comes in handy. Stay generous, stay joyful, hold love in your heart center, and be compassionate, because those are the things that are going to get you through this. So don't let that stop, or you'll just, the gate will come down, okay, and not let you through. Okie dokie. The Four of Vision says, don't be a stick in the mud. Don't be a stick in the mud. All righty. So let's read what the Four of Visions actually says, because as I was reading this, I just felt like, oh my gosh, this is so on point. The Four of Visions. A young man sits on the embankment above a forest pool. His attitude is sullen, dissatisfied, disinterested in life. He plodded out into the woods because he is bored with his day-to-day routine. And as we're ascending, it's almost like that. It feels, for me anyway, it felt a little boring at times. Like, when is this going to change? When are we going to move forward? That's kind of a common feeling, I think, with this stage in the ascension. It's a little boring, a little like, when is something going to happen? Okay. But even in this magical place, he's still bored. He could be anywhere, on a city street or a barren desert. He can't see beyond his own gloom. Open your eyes. I feel like that movie, Total Recall. Your eyes, open your eyes. Anyway, if you've never seen that old movie, you have no idea what I'm talking about. There are wonders close at hand, but his cynicism and negativity blind him to them. Even the flashing brilliance of a kingfisher doesn't rouse him from his moody sulks. He has no idea what he wants. And again, this is when you're in the middle of the ascension process, it can feel like that. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm hopeless. I don't know where I'm going. This is where faith comes in. Hold the faith in yourself and in the society and what's happening in Trump world. Hold your faith that it's going to end, because it will. Okay. Have you forgotten where you left your bliss? Maybe you've been hoping for an emotional lottery win or an earth-shaking epiphany to awaken your enthusiasm. The truth is, lasting happiness is made up of small moments. It is just a matter of opening your eyes to the wonders around you. Small moments. And that reminded me, when I read that, it reminded me of what I went through with every 1% of light. The small moments were hard when they happened, and then they were wonderful. After the negativity flew out and the light came in and filled those empty spaces that negativity once filled, it was wonderful. And that's what's happening. We've got to let the empty spaces fill with light. And then we can continue moving forward and making positive change. Okay? This is the other card they gave me. Sunlight. This is where we're going. This is where we're supposed to end up. Okay? So from here to here, the light, the full ascension, happiness, success, all of us living in harmony. That's where we're going. That's where the ascension will take us. That's where this path that we're on right now leads. It may not feel like it, and it may feel at times like we have no hope and like that this is never going to get better. But that's how I would feel for the 2 days after I would do 1% of light. I would feel like there's no hope, and why am I even doing this? I wanted to give up at times. And then I would get to that third day and I'd be like, all right, let's go. Let's rock. Let's do it again. So it's that one day of hope that keeps you going until you reach the end, the beautiful, glorious end where all of this beautiful light awaits us. And that's where we're heading. Okay, that's my spiel on Ascension. And I hope that it resonated with you, and I hope that it made sense. Feel free to comment and let me know if there's anything else that you think I should read on. Any other topics. So going forward, I might start interspersing some of these types of messages in here where it's just more of an educational and a message of hope, because that's what we all need right now. Hope. Love you guys. I'm so happy to have you, and thank you for all the likes and all the shares and all the recommendations. I heard that some people had told other readers and other viewers about me, so thank you for that. I don't thank you enough. I just kind of like, because I just, in my mind, I'm like, I'm just doing this. I have a hair on my face. Anyway, for me, I'm just doing this to be helpful, and I don't even think that there's people even watching me. So thank you so much for watching. I love all of you, and we'll just keep pushing through. All right. Have a lovely day, and I will see you next time.